We're all back together. All right. So basically, what I was, remember, you have been a wonderful English student up until now. When your teacher asks you in your English class to, dissect a reading, you are expected to go outside the reading. You're expected to bring in real world examples, real world learning. You're expected to, sit with your peers and really discuss the theme and really talk about, the different themes that are brought up. SAT is just so completely different, and that's why you and I are studying today, is because it can't be, none of these answers are based on emotion. That kid who chose A, remember, is going to pick the emotional answer. It's not emotion, it's all facts. We can't read into anything. We can only provide the information back to the question. So really, we can't read into anything. I'll show you an example. When I first started reading this passage, right away, we just got done with Silas Marner last period. So I was like, oh, another sweet one where a man, Silas, used to love money and now he loves Epi. That's me. That's me going down the English teacher. I've been an English teacher for 14 years. That's me going down the path of English teacher. And then I have to stop myself and be like, okay, this is the SAT. Cut that out. So I just want to show you the importance of, we can't read into it. We can't think like what the author intended by any of the words. We just have to take the words at face value. So my words that I found, the electrician, it was really looking for more money. The farm owner, I just wanted to remember his name. The electrician wants to look hardworking, not completely buying the fact that he is so hardworking, only because the words were he wants to appear before the owner. So he would place himself. Those were the words that I found in here. He would place himself in spots where when the owner was in town and was visiting the farm, he would place himself strategically in spots where the owner would see him. And to me, it just means because he's placing himself, he's being very strategic about trying to appear as though he is hardworking. But all in all, because it started off with examples of his, little side hustles, I don't believe that he is 100% loyal to this farm, nor is he 100% loyal to the farm worker. He just has a lot of kids, and he's really trying to just, find ways to make more money. But the farm owner does like his work, as long as he's kept, as long as like the power's on and, he's comfortable when he does come to the farm and he's not really bothered that much. He does like his work all in all. So I thought it was just a long-time worker. Remember, he mentioned, I've gotten a lot of gray hair here. He's been here for a while. Long-time worker looking out for himself. He's really just looking out for himself. He's not necessarily looking out for the farm. He's looking out for himself. So let's see how we did. The main purpose of the first passage is to characterize this Nawab as a loving father. Now, it mentioned he had 12 daughters. It didn't mention that. Anything about how he did that. Outline the schedule of a typical day. No, that was not the case at all. I don't know his planner. Describe Nawab's various money. Yes. Contrast Nawab, not at all. Line is 16 kicks most nearly means. So a big thing that I'm going to just remind you about is it says than. So it's the opposite of the kudos. So he did more even want to fix watches, although the Enterprise did particularly badly, and in fact earned more. What's the opposite? If you're getting accolades or you're getting attention, the opposite of that is you're getting more anger than kudos. If you're getting people that are saying good things about you, That's what I mean by accolades. So kudos, then if the opposite is, then they're giving you complaining, complaints, anger or complaints. People are unhappy with the product. Nowadays, what do? Go give you a bad star on Google rating. Thrills? No. Oh, there's complaints. Jolts? No. Interests? No. So we'll go with complaints. The author uses the images of an engineer at sea, most likely to, let's see if we can narrow it down before we look back, okay? So let's just narrow it down. Suggest that Nawab often dreams of having a more exciting profession. No, he doesn't want that. Remember our theme? He doesn't really care what he's doing. He just wants to make money. Highlight the fact that Nawab's primary job is to tend to Haroni's tube wells. I don't think so. He has a lot of other jobs. He has a lot of other things to do around there. Reinforce the idea that Nawab has had many different occupations in his life. No, because he got gray hair working on this farm. Emphasize how demanding Nawab's work for her. Yeah. We didn't have to look back. Which choice best supports the claim that Nawab performs his duties for Haroni well? So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see, can I get rid of any? We were just on line 23 to 28, so I can't get rid of A, but it looks like I can get rid of D. 43 to 42. It looks like I can get rid of C. Cool, we've narrowed it down. Okay, he performs his duties for Haroni well. 28 to 32, between by his and Lahore. 28 to 32. By his superhuman efforts, he almost managed to maintain same mechanical, cooled and bathed in light and fed, while the landowner, yeah, he does a good job. He's not complaining. The landowner who's cheerfully filled his nails. No, that doesn't, no. So it's A. It's not about him clipping his nails by the fire. In the context of the conversation between Nawab and Haroni, Nawab's comments in 43 to 40, sir, I beg you, mainly serve to, let's just try to narrow down a couple before we look back, okay? So would he be trying to flatter him by mentioning how vast his lands are? I actually remember that. Do you remember that? Yeah. So I don't want to get rid of that. Boast to Haroni about how competent and reliable. Now, I do like that, actually. I really, yeah. Emphasize Nawab's diligent and loyalty. Oh, look at that. B and C are saying the same thing. Look at that. Boast to Haroni about how competent and reliable he is. So he's making these comments to say, I am competent and reliable, or emphasize his diligence and loyalty. So is he competent and reliable, or is he diligent and loyal? That's interesting. So I already just want to narrow this down because those are so close. We're now looking, remember how I showed you before? Right there. Some kids are finding the C, some kids are finding the D. Notify Haroni that Nawab tends to quit his job tending to the tube wells. Now, I do remember it, and in fact, he said it twice. He said, just please let me go, please let me go. It wasn't to quit, though. It was to get fired. He was asking to be released from service. So let's look back, and we're just looking at what the main character is doing. So, between lines 43 to 52. So you know your land stretched from here to the Indus, and these lands are fully 17 tube wells. 43 to 52. Okay, so every kid is going to pick A, but we're going to keep reading because we're supposed to read till 52. And tend these 17 tube wells. There is but one man, me, your servant. We're reading all the way till beg you. In your service, I have earned these gray hairs. That's what I was talking about. I probably just resonated with that right there because of mine. In your service, I have earned these gray hairs. Here he bowed his head to show the gray. How far are we going? 52. We're still going. And now I cannot fulfill my duties as I should. I have been with you for a long time. I have been loyal to you for a long time. I cannot fulfill my duties as I should. Enough, sir, I beg you. Forgive me my weakness. We're going to beg you. We stopped there. I beg you, right? Or we stopped right there. We don't even know what he was begging him, so it definitely wasn't this right here. So we're narrowing it down to 2. Is he saying he's competent and reliable, or diligent and loyal? He got gray hair from being there that long. He's loyal. Nawab uses the word bridegroom mainly to emphasize he's no longer, well, let's stick with our theme. He's no longer, like when you're a bridegroom, you're, in your 20s, you're getting married. And he's not that anymore. He's not that what? You don't even have to, go back and look at it. He's old now. He's been there for a long time. He's loyal. So he's not that in love. No. But see how some kids are going to pick that? He's not that naive. Maybe. Busy? No. He's not that young. I've been with you for a long time. That's it. It can reasonably be inferred from the passage that Haroni provides Nawab with a motorcycle mainly because Haroni appreciates that Nawab has to work hard to support his family. We really focused on this one, so we don't have to look back. Haroni appreciates that Nawab has to work hard to support his family. No, he wanted a motorcycle because his pitch was that once he got the motorcycle, he was going to be able to go out to the wells much more quickly and efficiently than if he had his bike, right? And he's old, so his bike is making his day longer and more physically demanding. Haroni sees benefit to himself from giving Nawab a motorcycle. Yeah, actually, because Nawab's going to leave him alone. Nawab's speech is the most eloquent. No. He said, it mentioned that Haroni is totally used to people doing this. Like, he's a businessman, I think, or, somebody of wealth where people are asking stuff from him all the time, and he's used to it. Nawab threatens to quit if Haroni doesn't agree to give him a motorcycle. That's actually not true. So it's B. And then all we have to do for 8, I remember what 8 is because we looked. All we have to do is we have to look back to where we started or where we had our focus. Even before that, I am curious to see if there's any we can get rid of. We went to line 62, and this starts on line 65, so no. But this should be fast because I starred, it touched on his comfort, a matter of great interest right here, and I starred the crops that year had been good. Okay, so there's 2 reasons why he's going to just say yes. It touched on his comfort. He just wants him to get rid of, like he's sitting by the fire clipping his nails. He doesn't really want to be bothered. So it's kind of like infringing on his evening, the fact that this guy's talking to him. So the only thing that interested him at the moment was being comfortable and just vegging out. We all know those moments where you're lost in a good book and you don't want to be interrupted, right? No, we're all in like episode 13 of a long Netflix documentary, and we're trying to get through our episode, and we don't want to be bothered. Or everybody that's fun is on Xbox right now, and you don't want your parents to come in and ask you to pick up your room, right? So that's touching on your comfort, a matter of great interest to you. Or the crops that year had been good. That I checked that because it kind of indicates he has the money anyway. So maybe he's just going to do it because he has the money anyway. He felt expansive in front of the fire, so he was feeling himself. All right, so where did I check? 65. I actually didn't check 65. 66 to 68. That would be, he didn't particularly care. He didn't to him. He didn't particularly care one way or the other, except that it touched on his comfort. Yeah, I checked that one, so I do like that one. Did I check 75 to 76? No. Or did I check 80 to 81? I didn't check it. I thought it was interesting. That was his pitch, but that wasn't it. I said 85, I meant 80. So the only one that I checked was B. The passage states the farm managers reacted to Nawab receiving a motorcycle with, it says the word. Remember when he first got it, before they started calling him uncle and showing him like that they liked him, it said that they were not impressed. Anybody who doesn't get something isn't going to be impressed. They didn't get a motorcycle. They're not going to like that he got a motorcycle. Happiness, no. Envy, that's me reading into it. That's what I just did. I read into it. Or indifferent. Indifferent means they don't really care. That's a word that SAT loves to use. Indifference. You'll see that over and over. So you really don't care. You don't feel one way or another about it, which wasn't the case. That they felt disgust by it. They were like, what? Okay, according to the passage, what does Nawab consider to be the best result of getting the motorcycle? Do you remember that? People started calling him uncle. I think that was a nice thing that happened, but that wasn't the best result of him getting it. He's able to expand his business. Well, we didn't have any indication that he was continuing. He's still working on the wells, so no. He's able to educate his daughters again. And they said he had 12. We don't know anything about them. He can spend more time with his wife. They did say that because she doesn't want to live on the farm, remember? All right, so I'm glad we got to practice the strategy for the first time. We know that there's going to be 2 on every section. We'll practice it this time, as we go through this period to see whether or not you like it. And if you don't have to own it, and we won't do it anymore. All right, so the next section should be social science, right? What I do want you to do is, if you want to write out your somebody but so chart, you're welcome to. I want you to be thinking about it though. Sometimes students have a real difficult time coming up with theme for, let me just double check actually. Let me make sure it's social science. Yeah, it's about news. How fun. Students do have a difficult time coming up with a theme for social science. And the somebody wanted but so, as you know, does really try to, take away the layers and get you down to the theme so that you can state it. So if you want to just jot it down, you're welcome to. If not, that I will discuss that with you when we come back. So, what I'd like to do then is have you read this next social science, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about theme. All right. I will talk to you soon.